Hi everyone. We'll just wait for Tripti to join in. Hi Tripti.
Hey Vinti, how are you doing? So good
Very
to
well.
connect.
Lovely to connect. We cannot emphasize the need of nutrition and the need of being healthy more than what we could, right, with the current circumstances. So it gives me great
Absolutely.
pleasure and having you with. So Tripti is a very well-known nutritionist from Bombay. So over to you, Tripti.
Thank you, Vinti. I'm so glad we're doing this today because I think, there are so many myths out there and so many misconceptions, and there's so much confusion today, with what to do with nutrition. And people are like going helter skelter with what to do for our immunity and what to do for our weight loss. And, there's so much confusion that should we eat a lot so that our immunity goes up, or should we like knock off the excess calories because our weight is going up? So it's so important, to guide our audience with the right combination of, what's the right balance for them. And I think that's really the key today. People are confused, and I'm so happy to be here and be able to, answer any of those questions that they have out there. But for me, the first most important focus today with, the growing cases in the pandemic, I think obesity has become a very, very big problem. And one thing that people are doing is sitting at home, eating and enjoying different food because that's one source of entertainment. It makes you feel good. But
Interesting, right?
on the other hand, checking your weight on the scale is something people are refraining from. They're like, okay, all right, I'm sure I must have gained a couple of kgs. A lot of people don't even check their weight until the clothes have gone tighter, and we're mostly in our loose pajamas, so we don't realize where the waistline is growing. But it's so important for people to realize the importance of keeping their weight in very good check. I think that's the beginning to good immunity. That's the beginning to good health, because as we see the statistics everywhere, it's become a very, very huge problem, especially with the younger generation, people of our age group between 30 to 60. There's so much that we are used to doing. We've been exercising and we've been on the go, we've been working, and now we're all at home. We're homeschooling our kids, we're taking care of our parents, and we have so many things to juggle. Sometimes we have no time to exercise. So those things become a challenge for our age group. Again, we are juggling between the older generation and the younger generation. So we have our parents who are senior citizens, again having comorbidities, and they have to be taken care of, and they are losing out on their walk time. So they
Right.
are restricted, so they are gaining
So,
weight there.
so Tripti, let's start with the golden word of the pandemic, immunity. And how can we build our immunity being at home? So, give us natural remedies or whatever that you
Yeah,
can,
yeah.
that besides popping pills, which, all of us have become experts at.
100%, 100%. So when it comes to natural remedies for immunity, we have so much gold in our kitchen out there. I've always emphasized on natural things, natural spices. It's all in there, and once we know how to use the right combinations, we can actually maximize the benefits from it. So I remember in my last, one of my videos in the last lockdown, one recipe that I had thrown in was the turmeric oil. And a lot of people were wondering, how is this? Is it very complicated? Is it so difficult to make? But actually it's so simple, and you will be amazed to know the amount of benefits something like this would have, because turmeric is fat soluble. So a lot of us think that, okay, we're putting turmeric in our hot water and drinking, and we're getting a lot of curcumin out of it, but actually the percentage of absorption of curcumin in water is barely 3%, as
Okay.
opposed to when you have it mixed in any kind of healthy fats. So very
Okay.
simple recipe for the turmeric oil would be, if you're taking equal quantities of cold pressed sesame oil, cold pressed coconut oil, and a little ghee, a good desi ghee. You could take it in equal quantities. You can put your organic turmeric in it, have it soaked for about 30 minutes, and then you can just simply use a filter paper to let the oil drip. And after you've done that, it's been soaked for a while. The curcumin absorption in that is so powerful. And that is something that you can use in multiple things. You can put it in so many different tonics. So one of my favorite morning tonics, which I recommend to a lot of my clients, as well as what I consume regularly. In fact, I have been posting so many pictures also in the past about, how we can use our turmeric oil. So my favorite recipe is where you mix a little bit of honey with your turmeric oil, and you can throw in a pinch of cinnamon powder in it, beat it up and make it like 1 chammach of tonic and have it. So that is
Okay.
so good, and it kind of boosts your immunity completely. It's fat soluble. It's giving you great lubrication for your gut health. So it has multiple benefits. You can choose a honey as per your requirement, depending on whether you're diabetic or whether you are a younger person. So depending on what your choice of honey is, but this is a very, very effective tonic that you can do regularly. And
I was
another issue
sorry.
with immunity boosters is acidity. So a
I
lot
was
of
just going.
people have been, yeah. So a lot of people have been talking about it, that, oh my God, acidity is setting in, when we are taking a lot of spices. So please don't do too much of it. Keep it in a balance. So again, a very, very simple remedy that I always recommend is taking soaked black raisins. So raisins, when you soak it in the night and morning, you throw away the water, you start your day with that. That's great for kids as well. It's great for senior citizens. It's great for all age groups. And you have 5 to 6 pieces of that first thing in the morning, and then you can start your day with taking your tonic and going into your entire routine. So it just becomes very structured, your schedule. It just makes a lot of difference when it comes to facing your day and feeling light, as well as it works as natural metabolism booster.
I've seen one of your videos where you say you keep emphasizing the fact that you should not ignore the smaller signals that your body send you, because that actually has a larger impact on the bigger things. So, people who face constipation and, basic bloating, and you're looking at joint pains, which we were also talking about, finger pains and joint pains. You should not ignore that, because it leads to, usually has underlying larger issues. So could you elaborate on that, please?
I think that's been such a key. I have been always actually digging this out of most of my clients, that hello, please do not ignore this. So when we look for weight loss and then now for immunity, we actually land up missing out on the smaller signs, which actually become so important. So when you dig out of a person that, okay, are you also having any kind of joint aches, or are you have been experiencing any headache, any backache, and they're like, oh my God, yeah, I mean, I do have those issues, or I do get constipated sometimes. So those are the things which people generally ignore, but these are the small signs which are actually talking to us. They're actually telling us that, listen, this is what you really need to focus on. So it's very important for us to listen to our body and accordingly act, not just ignore them, because there will be a time when suddenly the headaches become so much and they become a migraine, and then you get stuck with that issue. So it's very, very important to pay attention to your deficiencies. It's so important to get all your blood tests done to know that, okay, my levels are correct or not just mindlessly popping pills. So you can also have an excess of vitamin D3. You can be probably a hypervitaminosis. So you don't want those issues to occur. So it's
Right.
so important to know your levels before you pop in the right supplements. And it's also very important to check where you're deficient and supplement those. So
Right.
it's very important to pay attention to these deficiencies. And of course, the smaller signs, as you mentioned, headaches and constipation, bloating, gut health, that's become a very common problem. That's become a very common problem even for children, when these. So I had a case where I had a child coming to me, and he was constantly getting hiccups. And he's a small child, about 8 years old. And the parents were wondering what's wrong, and they went to so many doctors, they couldn't figure what's exactly the issue. And when I spoke to the child and discussed a lot about what his eating pattern is, what are his likes, dislikes, how is he eating, I realized it could be acidity. And when we diagnosed it as acidity and we started treating him accordingly, it's amazing how the hiccups stopped. So can you imagine, like, there are so many things which go into these smaller issues, and it's so important to figure out what exactly is not right. So a very popular portion, which is among my clients, I give them regularly for acidity as well as great gut health, which is also in season right now, is our mango. So of
Yeah.
course, the mango can also be substituted with another fruit. So I generally recommend a bowl of yogurt, a well-beaten yogurt, with pieces of mango or banana in it, and a pinch of pink salt, and soaked black raisins, about 5 to 6 pieces. And you beat that up and you have it as a meal, and it works miraculously for acidity. So it has helped so many people of different age groups. It's extremely digestive. It's so rich in its probiotics. It's excellent for electrolyte balance. So you're getting your sugar from your mango, you're getting your salt. So it just creates that perfect balance for your gut health. So
Lovely. Since
things like
you've
that.
spoken about gut, sorry, since you've spoken about gut health, can we elaborate on that? Because that's a question that many people have directly messaged me for. So, because everyone's talking about gut health and how do you maintain a good, clean gut?
Well, maintaining a good, clean gut is not at all rocket science. First of all, guys, it's simple. What's important is that you need to do your basics right. That's basically eating in the right portions, right quantities, eating healthy food, not keeping very large gaps between meals, which is again going to create a lot of acid in the stomach, which will destroy your healthy bacteria. So when we talk of good gut health, what we're really talking about is the combination of the healthy bacteria and what's the quantity of the bacteria in our gut. So when our our healthy bacteria start reducing, that's the time we're giving space for the unhealthy bacteria to accumulate. And there are
Right.
various reasons where this could happen. This could happen because of probably, you have been eating a lot of junk food, or you're having a lot of colas, or you are, doing a lot of, you're having any kind of juices which are very acidic. So those are the things which can create, an imbalance in the gut. So consuming probiotics is extremely important. That's become so necessary. So when you are going to be consuming probiotics, which is top of the charts yogurt and buttermilk, that's the best way to make sure that you're replenishing your gut bacteria in the natural healthy way. So there are
Right.
many other probiotics also, but this works very well because there's a lot of confusion when it comes to people not understanding the difference between acidity, bloating, constipation, and gas. So people kind of self treat themselves, and they're
I know.
probably doing the wrong thing for the wrong reason. So if you have a constipation issue, what's important for you is to up your fiber and your lubrication and your hydration. That means your water has to go up, your fiber has to go up. But when you are having gas, we cannot give too much fiber. We have to reduce the fiber and give you easy to digest. So identifying your problem correctly and then treating it is important. So for good gut health, the easiest thing for us to follow as a thumb rule is start your day alkaline, not eat too much acid, start your day alkaline. So starting your day with raisins is a great idea. Including a bowl of yogurt with different combinations is a great idea. Not keeping your long gaps between meals works miraculously. Again, not eating very early and sleeping very late, because that again has become a very big trend that people say we should eat before 6 and before 7, but they're sleeping at 1 a.m. So
Fasting.
yeah,
Yeah.
so if you are sleeping so late, you're bound to open the fridge, you're bound to open and eat some rubbish, because then probably you're hungry. Or
Yeah.
that gap has become so much that over a period of a few weeks, you'll start feeling acidic. And then
Right.
people come back saying that, I don't know why is this acidity crept and I never had it. So
Right.
it's very important to keep that balance.
And what is your take on, going dairy free and gluten free? Because, these are all fads which keep coming and going. So what is the take on that?
So gluten free is again become a very popular among people, because that's the easiest way for them to also blame the carbs and say, okay, just stay away from the carbs and just let's get rid of the wheat. A very common issue which I diagnose among most of my clients who thought they were gluten intolerant was they were
Right.
not chewing their food correctly. It's as simple as that. So when you're not chewing your roti well, and you're not going to allow that digestion to take place in the mouth, which is basically the first source of digestion, you're definitely going to have gas. And then they start eating rice and they feel, oh, it's so much easier, but rice has far less fiber. So gluten intolerance is basically completely a fad. I would definitely not advise that unless you are specifically intolerant to gluten through a food allergy test. It has been proven that it is not suiting your gut anymore. And if you are intolerant and you are allergic to it, generally it would happen right from childhood. Suddenly, in our
Right.
adulthood, if we are not being able to tolerate it, then there is some other reason. Something else is not correct. Something else is going wrong.
And what
Same
about
goes
dairy?
for, Dairy, same goes for dairy, because dairy, again, unless you're lactose intolerant, there is no need for us to get rid of dairy. What's important is to, of course, choose good quality milk, make sure it's hormone free, because it's the hormone injected milk in the middle which had caused so much problem. The younger generation, especially the kids who are coming up with different kinds of issues, hormonal imbalances in young girls, all those issues were coming from hormone injected milk. So it's so important to get it from the right sources. But there is absolutely, please have your lactose, please consume your healthy natural proteins. We've been having it all our lives. And your curd and probiotic buttermilk, I think there is nothing which can substitute that better. So it's very, very important for us to not skip these food groups. They are all important. So today, now we have finally realized that, it's not the time to go for any fads. Just chuck everything else. There's no keto, do nothing. Follow balanced eating, which we've been doing all our lives, and we need all the nutrition right now. We need a very sustainable eating pattern. So that's very important, to be able to eat something we can sustain as a lifestyle. We can eat for a long time. So what's really working miraculously for all our people is a very good portion control. I think that works miraculously when it comes to getting your weight in check, keeping balanced eating, helping your digestion, not overloading it with too much food at one time. So all these things really matter when you're doing a portion control. You'll be like, I always have the standard bowl I give all my clients that, okay, this is your bowl. So they have a specific bowl in the kitchen, which is their size of bowl. And they bring their bowl for every consultation. Okay, Tripti, this is my bowl. And so I'm having this is my bowl for my fruits. And this is the bowl I'm having my veggies in. And this is where I'm putting my dal and my curd in. So it's just so much easier that this is my portion.
Is almond milk a good replacement? Even if you're not going dairy free, is it a good replacement to regular milk?
Yeah, of course. For people who are, wanting to go lactose free because they are intolerant to lactose or it has not suited them, definitely you can go for substitutes. There is almond milk, we have soy milk, we have rice milk. In fact, I have also created a brown rice milk recipe, which is very, very rich in minerals. So you can combine the two to make it lighter. You can do like a mix of brown rice and almond milk. So that kind of gives you a complete amino acid profile. At the same time, the fat is also controlled. The fiber, the minerals are very high. So it works beautifully. I've done a vegan protein shake actually, which was a very, very good recipe for vegans and very rich in protein, where I had mixed brown rice milk and almond milk together. So I created both of them at home. It's so simple. You just soak them for some time. And then you are going to grind it in the blender and strain the water out. So that's your almond milk and your brown rice milk. You mix it up. And I created the protein powder with chana, that typical roasted chana, which we eat with the shingdana. So the roasted chana and the peanuts. So mixed together, just exactly in the same proportion, about 30 grams, grind it to a powder. And put it in your milk, the rice and almond milk which you just created. You can add a little cocoa powder. You can add like a nice fruit to it, like a frozen banana. And it's so yum. And the protein quantity is fabulous. I mean, it's as good as having a whey. So that's a great, great drink, for people who do not want to have any dairy and would like to go for plant-based milk. So this works miraculously for their protein intake. It's a great drink also for a lot of our COVID patients, who have gone weak and who need their protein and who want something which is very easy on their digestion. And at the same time, they're not able to eat a lot because of loss of taste. So when there's loss of taste, you're not really enjoying food. So your quantity becomes less. So in that case, giving them concentrated foods, which kind of at least look attractive and exciting. So that works very well.
One more thing, Tripti, as a mother, and I'm a mother of 3 kids. As a mother, you're constantly seeing your kids, constantly on gadgets, right? It's not just it's not for
so much.
Now, it's unfortunate because they can't go outdoors. So it's their only way, just chilling with their friends and also being, there for school hours. It's leading to so much eye fatigue and so much redness, the joint pains and all of that. What can we do to overcome this, nutrition wise? Is there anything, is there something magical that we can do to help them with this?
So basics of a lot of things actually, but what we can definitely introduce for them is make sure that one meal of the day is going to be like a vitamin A rich smoothie. You know, you can prepare like a nice smoothie for them, which is with carrots and maybe a nice vitamin C fruit, whichever is available seasonally. You can also put mango right now since we have that in season. And pumpkin seeds actually work very, very well for eye health. So that can be like a nice drink, you know, given to them on a regular basis, or it can just be a bowl of fruit. That's important. And it's very, very important for us to, you know, not allow them to constantly be on the screen for a very long time. So I think, you know, train them like every 2 hours, look away from the screen, try to give your eyes a break, try to keep their chair, you know, near a window if possible, where they are studying. So when they are on screen, they're sitting in the class for so long. Every 2 hours, if they can look outside the window just for 20 seconds, that works very well for eye health. Another thing is hydration. So it's so important for them to drink a lot of water, because there's so much dryness of the eye which occurs because of the screen time. It's not just for kids, it's for all of us. So having, you know, the right eye drops, you know, after consulting ophthalmologist, the basic artificial tears, which should be okay for children as well, because they are
Yeah.
the ones who are now getting a number. They're all, you know, they're having headaches, or maybe their eyes are itchy and red. So that's become a very big problem with children, because you're always on screen, the activity is negligible, and then there's
Right.
so much boredom. So you're
Yeah.
constantly hitting the fridge, or you're constantly trying to open the cupboard and see what's there to munch on in between meals. So that
Right.
again becomes a big challenge, you know. So trying to keep like very smart options for them again as your in between snacks would work very well for them. So
Thank you for that. And we're all dealing with stress. We're dealing with, depressing news all over, so much anxiety, or, so many of us can't sleep properly. Is there any sort of food, that would help us sleep better? And also, we tend to do a lot of binge eating, we succumb to binge eating, emotional eating. So what are the healthier options to binge eat if we have to, because we're all home now, every 2, 3 hours, we're all hungry. So what can we do for that? And what can we do to sleep better?
So binge eating has become a very big problem, and if we are not hungry, we just want to eat out of boredom. But at the same
Yeah.
time, we want tasty things, so we want something yummy to munch on, because that kind of satisfies our senses. So creating very easy things at home, like probably like a nice yogurt dip, which is again something which is very easy. You can have your nice, your herbs and all added to it as per your choice. You can have some fruit added to it, or you can have like a hummus prepared at home with your carrot cucumber sticks. You can also create so many vegetable chips nowadays. You could just slice your beetroot, or you can also have spinach. You can just throw them in an air fryer, or else if you have an oven, you can just bake them. So cut thin slices, bake them, sprinkle with sea salt, and have like a dabba of those kind of snacks, which are very, very healthy. And a very big craving is generally chatpata or sweet. So
Right.
that's a very common issue. Okay, I want to eat something, so I'm looking for something sugary, or I'm looking for something chatpata. So when it comes to
Yeah.
spicy, then of course you have your homemade salsa, tomato chutney, green chutney. There's so many things to pep up. When it comes to sweet, then you can probably choose things like preparing like a fruit yogurt, or it could also be like a dates chutney. You can have a little cocoa added to it. That becomes like a lovely chocolate spread. So you can have like just dates boiled, and you can have your chocolate chips added and boil it nicely together. It all melts together, gives you a lovely brown color, gives you a chocolatey flavor, and you're actually making your children eat dates. So there's so many different ways, to make popsicles. And I had created mango popsicles with turmeric oil in it. So every time your child is eating one popsicle, there is 2 teaspoons of turmeric oil going into him. Or if you're making your immunity spread, is something which I had also made, the date and chocolate spread. That is something you can spread on your toast. It tastes like Nutella. So it's so yum. So things like that, and you can just prepare it, keep it in the fridge, and use it as and when they want. So when they have all these healthy options, then it becomes much easier for us. Otherwise, if you're going to keep on forcing them to eat that basic food, then they'll always land up, quietly going and picking up something. So this
And what
works for all of us actually. We all need it.
and getting better?
Pardon?
Sorry. And what about, are there any foods that help us sleep better?
Of course, sleep again is a very big issue. So it has been a big problem for people who've been keeping very large gaps between their meals and their bedtime. it has been a very big problem for people who are suffering from bloating and indigestion. So a lot of times you're not able to sleep because you have bloating or you have gas or you're just uncomfortable, and you kind of, feel that, okay, I've taken a tablet and it's okay, but you're still not able to sleep well. So
Right.
I have seen a lot of people with gut health issues having sleep issues. So a very, very quick recipe, which I give to all my clients, is carrot stew. So what I tell them is just boil carrots and put only 3 ingredients in it. You can have a pinch of hing, a pinch of turmeric, and a little ghee in it. And have a bowl of carrot stew at night. And that natural sweetness of the carrots is enough. You don't need to add salt. You can add a little lime for flavor. It works like magic for gas. So the bloating is completely gone. And otherwise, again, milk is a very, very good option, and turmeric is a very good sleep inducer. So with the haldi wala doodh that mothers used to give us as kids,
Yeah.
that's such a good option. So, you can, even if you prepare a turmeric oil, which is so healthy for all your joints, hair, lubrication, you can just simply add a chammach of your turmeric oil in your milk or maybe yogurt at night and have it with some pumpkin seeds or garden cress seeds. So that combination, again, induces very good sleep. It just calms you down and gives you good sleep. And another very important thing which I always focus on is self-care. I feel
I was
that's,
just
yeah. So that's like a form of meditation. I think we all need our mind off the news. We all need our mind off this anxiety and stress. We all need to calm our nerves, and that also kind of plays so much on our mind, which affects our sleep. So I always recommend like a good bedtime routine. Focus on whatever area you want to focus on. Like if you feel I need to pay more attention to my skin or my hair, or just, soak your feet in hot water, place some warm eye pads on your eyes. There's so much that we can do, So skincare, hair care. I think hair has become a very big problem
very,
in
very big issue. Yeah.
It's become such a big problem. No, everyone has been suffering from hair fall, and actually, the first sign of weakness or deficiency, or also when it comes to a lot of stress, anxiety, is hair fall. When we get
Right.
fever, we lose hair. Whenever you're sick or you've taken some medication or antibiotics, you lose hair. So hair fall is the first sign
Right.
something is not right, and
Right.
that's where we need to immediately boost it up and not wait for having chunks of hair coming in our hand. So a
Yeah.
hair root nourisher is something that is a very effective drink that I had prepared in my videos last year, and that is also very rich in folates, which is your B9 vitamin. So these folates is something that people have not been paying a lot of attention to, and it is also great for hair. So the combination works beautifully. So what ingredients I use in this juice are, I have used a thick pinch of spinach, methi, lemongrass, that typical lemongrass you put in a chai, sprouts, just about 2 tablespoons, and your omega-3 oil, which can be your flaxseed oil or your chia seed oil. And I
Okay.
have put a kiwi because kiwi was available in season. And if you're getting kiwi, that's amazing for sleep as well, and great for your vitamin C, excellent for your hair. So when you blend this and you strain it, the juice is so yum.
Oh
It's
wow.
so yum, and it works so powerfully for combating hair fall because it's so rich in everything. You've got your protein there, the sprouts, you've got your folates there, you've got your iron there, you've got your omega-3 there. So you're giving yourself so much health, in that one portion of drink. So
Yeah.
that's great as a sleep inducer as well as for hair. So it works very, very well.
Thank you for that. That's a great tip. I also want to ask, if your videos you said there's a direct correlation between obesity and post-COVID recovery.
Oh,
So
yes.
highlight that us about it.
100%, as in weight has become a very, very big concern. In fact, if you see, most of the younger generation who have been overweight or obese have suffered COVID. So it's so important for us to keep our weight in check, because that itself is the first sign of weakening our immunity. So the minute the fat balance in the body is gone off and your fat percent has gone much higher, the muscle mass has reduced, the body definitely will get weaker. It's fighting so much more. It's trying to keep a balance of everything. You need more blood circulation. There's lesser activity. Everything gets completely slows down. So it's very, very important for us to not allow that weight gain to occur to such a large extent, because then it becomes very difficult for a person to recover quickly. It's
Right.
important to keep that balance of, so the thumb rule is that if you are about whatever is your weight, whatever is your height, so if you're like 160 centimeters, minus 100 centimeters is for the men, and minus 105 centimeters is for the women. So a man who is about 60 is about 160 centimeters, his ideal weight should be 60 kgs, and for the woman it should be 55 kgs. Plus or minus 10% is okay. Minute
Okay.
you're crossing that, it's so important to immediately, get it in control, because as soon as the fat balance has gone up, your body is already going through a compromise. And obesity or overweight leading to obesity should be considered like a comorbidity, which is not. I think it's one of the largest comorbidity today. So
Yeah.
juvenile diabetes is also occurring from overweight in children. Diabetics who are overweight, everybody who has excess weight will always have some one more issue coming along with it, like your acidity, hair fall, all the other factors. So they are all directly, connected to your hormonal balance. Your fat, every hormone is fat. Your brain
Right.
health is fat, again, omega 3. When the balance is gone off, everything in the body starts behaving differently. That's why
Right.
weight has become a very, very big concern. So yes, for COVID patients also, it's so important, to recover from COVID, to bring them back also to their healthy weight if they've gone very weak, and to prevent from, suffering from a lot of making the symptoms worse. It's so important to keep your weight in check. So that makes a huge difference. So we've been, I've been really helping a lot of people there for their weight, and that's something that all of us have to focus on, that not letting the inches go out of control, your
Right.
waistline, and getting the weight in balance. It's so important.
One more thing is, a lot of people have DM'd me asking me this: how much water should we consume? There's so many contrary views on this. Some people say 8 liters, liters, and on your body type. So don't generalize it. So what is your take on water?
Water, I would say that right now we are in summer, number one. Our body needs hydration. We are mostly indoors. We are at home. We are in the air conditioning. You're mostly going into dehydration. So 3 liters of water is the minimum that we must all consume on a regular basis. It's totally fine if you're visiting the loo often, as long as the output of urine is good and it's clear. That's the best way for you to measure how much water should I drink. If your
Right.
output is very yellow, very dark in color, that means you are not hydrated enough. So that is the best way for you to test that how frequently you are visiting the washroom and what's the color. That's so important. As a thumb rule, 3 liters is definitely what we need. Then a lot of people have these myths that while eating food, I should drink water, I should not drink water, or maybe, they're confused. What should I drink and how much should I drink?
Right.
For that, I always say that treat your stomach like a mixie. Imagine it's a mixie and you're putting food in it, and if it's just a sandwich, which is so dry, and then now you're trying to grind it and make a paste out of it, it won't form a paste. You'll need some water. As opposed to you putting like a dal and a curry and some buttermilk, and then you're going to make a paste out of it. It will form a paste. So it's as simple as that. It's all about the kind of food that you are eating. So
Okay.
everybody's food is so different, and you have to see how much fluid is going into that particular meal. If you are
Right.
consuming sufficient fluid, like if you're eating a bowl of fruits, you will naturally not feel like drinking water, because the fruits themselves are 80% water. But if you're
Right.
eating something which is very dry, just a roti roll, you will feel like drinking water. It's also
Absolutely.
natural, So you have to also listen to your body and don't be so harsh on yourself. And I think up to 3 liters is a must. And a very, very important thing that I have been suggesting to everyone these days is to incorporate infused water, which is ideal for your body. So if for somebody who has been having fatty liver, or that you've been eating a lot of outside food, there are a lot of takeaways. We order so many takeaways so many times because of now who's going to cook, or they don't have help. So a lot of people are doing that. In that case, try to choose things which are like natural kidney liver cleansers. So I have been recommending this water called barley with milk thistle seeds. Both are easily available on Amazon. Barley, I think a lot of people know what it is. It's jaw. It's a natural kidney cleanser. And milk thistle seeds are natural liver cleansers. So if you just boil them together, strain it and drink it, that water can be flavored with lime, and it's such an amazing cleanser for your system. So it works miraculously for keeping your liver and kidneys absolutely clean, which is again become the next problem for a lot of people who have suffered COVID. So keeping the liver and kidney clean, organ cleansers are so important. And for children, I would suggest, like, fruit infused water, give them something nice and, peppy there. Because again, for them, with that stress and that feeling not being able to meet friends, all of that, they keep having this urge for sugar.
Right.
They want something sweet. But when you have like a bottle of flavored water out there, maybe a favorite fruit infused in it, it just naturally,
I can imagine.
satisfies you. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're just drinking that, and you feel like, oh my god, I'm having something which is like a little yummy juice, and it's not even so much sugar because it's just cut pieces of fruit in it, or maybe a little juice, like you could squeeze in a little watermelon juice and throw in some slices, and it just tastes so yum. So things like that, which work so well with children.
And let's end this with the five food that you would want to bust. All these things that we keep hearing.
Yeah. Food myths. Yes, we have lots of food myths, I'm sure. So food myths, I would say one of the biggest myths is people think that if we eat after 6 or 7, you're going to put on weight. I would say no, that doesn't work like that. Please follow your body clock. So if you are someone who is going to be sleeping about 2 to 3 hours later, it's fine. Don't try to, don't think that if you're going to eat after that, you're going to gain weight. Yes, you're going to gain weight if you eat the wrong things. So what's important is not to blame that time, but it's the food that you're eating. So keep that combination correct. And even if you're eating like a bowl of soup at 9:30 p.m., it's not going to make you gain weight, as opposed to grabbing some chocolate from the fridge, eating, and then saying, oh, I have already eaten early. So that's one of the very common myths that I have been hearing. A lot of people are saying go carb free. Should we go carb free? Should we like just not eat any carbs, because now we don't want to gain weight during this time? So that again, I would say would be very wrong, because it's so important to supply our body with the necessary sugar, So the sugar coming from the carbs is your direct brain glucose. If you're not going to have that and you're going to only eat protein, you're actually trying to make protein do the work of carbs. So you're basically also losing out on a lot of nutrition which your carbs could have given you, the vitamins, the minerals. And of course, we all know the carb and protein combination, like a dal chawal or maybe like a paratha with curd, is like a complete amino acid profile. So that's important for us to get the right nutrition. So it's all about sustainable, balanced eating, going back to our roots. Just, don't get into any of these fads. Keto diets, that has again become a big fad. It's been there for a while. Now people are realizing the drawbacks of it. So all these things will eventually have a problem, going gluten intolerant, gluten free, going dairy free. They will all backlash somewhere, unless it's a need by the body that, okay, this is not suiting me and I should avoid it. It's causing bloating or it's causing an issue. Otherwise, nothing should be eliminated as long as it's healthy. Try to keep a balance of different kinds of foods and keep your portion control. Choose sustainable eating. Make any one meal of the day. I always suggest make one meal compulsory which you feel you miss out the most. Like if you feel my kids generally don't eat fruits, one bowl of fruit becomes necessary as a snack. Unless he finishes, we're not getting the next meal. For elders, we can do like a soup, a good, healthy, protein-rich soup, which can be very easy also on their digestion. For people in our age group, between 30s and 60s, we can choose a nice, healthy smoothies, like the hair of nourisher juice, or at least 2 glasses that give us energy and keeps us, active to be able to take care of both the generations. So that's the balance that I would like, everybody to adopt. This is my message, that portion control yourself. Choose those foods which you miss out the most. And we all know what's healthy. We all know we must eat our veggies, we must eat our fruits, but we are missing out on that. So structure it in such a way that it becomes like a discipline. This is something that I'm not going to miss. And it just is as simple. Yeah, it works very well.
Thank you so much, Tripti. This has been very, very insightful. And I'm sure everyone hearing this, people who want to see the recorded version, are really going to gain a lot from this. Thank you so much.
Shimpi is asking that what is the other seed, Shimpi? The other seed which I mentioned is milk thistle. MILK milk, and thistle is THISTLE. And I could share the link with Vinti, and probably she can put it out there for you guys to know, and in the comments. So this is a combination of barley and milk thistle, and I will also share a recipe with Vinti. She can probably share it with
Sure.
you guys.
Put it on the comment section.
Yeah, great.
Even packs, whatever you want to put, we can just put it on the comment section.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Most welcome. Such a pleasure, Vinti. Thank you for having me.